But we can't change if we're having 6 beers and 8 hours of Netflix and social media and don't want to do the work. We can't change, man. And so that's what I think. And by the way, all of that crap is what's being promoted to you. It's easy. Success is easy. You look at these we use the word billionaires. Hey, it takes these people 30, 40, 50 years. And it's harder to be a billionaire than it is to be a starter in the NBA. There is 7-point-something billion people on earth, and there's like 60 starters in the NBA. Do that math. You know what I'm saying? And so these people have spent their whole lives giving up everything to get there. But you don't have to be a billionaire. You don't have to be rich and famous. Just be better than you were yesterday, and happiness, fulfillment, joy, life, purpose, it will come to you.
Hey, it's Rocky. Welcome to Richer Soul. Today's guest is Tommy Breedlove to share how to be legendary. Imagine it's 12 months from now, and you've achieved your major life goals. How does it feel to be in the best shape of your life? To wake up energized, excited about the day? To have great relationships and friends who support you and propel you forward? How does it feel to have an excess of money, to be able to make the choices you want? To be fearless and open to trying new adventures? Imagine being connected to the universe and it providing everything you desire. It's possible over time, and your past does not dictate your future. The only thing holding you back from this vision is you. It's time to take control of our thoughts and use them to our advantage. Welcome to Richer Soul, where we achieve our dreams and create harmony to health, wealth, relationships, time, and spirituality. If you have not had a chance to listen to episodes 1 through 9, I encourage you to go back and listen to the framework behind Richer Soul and how to create the life of your dreams. You can also find all the show notes for this episode at richersoul.com. Today's quote is from Ralph Waldo Emerson. To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. We need to be true to who we are and to stop dancing to someone else's song. You have your own music to make. Be harmonious. And that's our theme for today's guest. Before we get to that, last week's action step was in the morning to ask yourself, which me am I going to be today? Are we going to let the maestro play or the intruder win? It's a choice, and we all get to make it. How is the intruder doing? Have you kept them at bay? It's never going to be perfect. We just do our best. Today we have my friend Tommy Breedlove back again. I just got back from hearing him speak at a live private event. It was interesting to watch how people reacted to what Tommy said and the questions they had. The room was full of very well-to-do people, and it was hosted in a private club. It's also crystal clear, money doesn't buy you the ultimate life. That intruder we talked about last week was having a field day. When you listen to people's words, you will hear the truth of their programming and beliefs. Just pay attention. It's quite interesting. And a lot of times it's said just as an off comment or a little bit underneath their breath. Tommy was on episode 128, Discover Brilliance, Achieve Meaning, and Ensure Financial Success. If you want to hear his amazing backstory, check it out. Tommy Breedlove is a Wall Street Journal and USA Today best-selling author of the book Legendary, and business relationship and mindset coach who is a regular featured keynote speaker at global events. Tommy started his 20-year corporate career at one of the largest financial consulting firms in the world and eventually became a shareholder. the international practice leader and member of the board of directors for one of the largest public accounting and financial firms in the Southeast USA. At the top of his career, Tommy experienced a transformational moment, inspiring him to walk away from the corporate world and change his life and follow his true calling. Now he serves clients and audiences everywhere by empowering them to build and live legendary lives. He guides people to discover a life of significance while building a lasting legacy. He uses simple tools that he shares on how to work in your zone of brilliance, obtain financial freedom, and live with meaning and balance. The goal is to help everybody to become the person they've always wanted to be. Let's meet my friend and mastermind partner, Tommy Breedlove. Welcome to Rich Your Soul, Tommy Breedlove. It is great to have you back again to join us today.
Rocky, my brother, when I saw your smiling face, it actually made my week, man. So grateful and humbled to be here and ready to lean in, man.
And as always, I'm excited to chat with you and learn from you. You've been on previously, so we're going to start at a different place. Catch us up. What have the last 2.5 years been like for you? And what have you been working on?
Man, they've been a whirlwind in all the right ways and some challenging ways. 2.5 years ago, we were building a dream. We were building a vision. We came out with a book less than about 1.5 years ago that has since become a Wall Street Journal and USA Today bestseller. I should say the name of the book. It's called Legendary. Talked about it at length before. And, the whole movement was around helping executive men be better leaders, be better men, be better fathers, be better husbands without compromising their ambition, without compromising their need for success, and without compromising where they want to go financially. And it seems to have resonated because it's a paradigm shift for these guys and the whole movement. And my dream is 1 million men's lives transformed. And it's gotten so successful over the past 1.5 years that now we're starting the women's movement in 2022, where we're going to be running the same retreats, the same conferences, the same masterminds, and giving them the opportunity. We thought we'd screw it up on the executive men's side. And so then we could go into the women and we'd do it right there. But, it's been a whirlwind. We've had tremendous amount of success. We bought a hotel in the North Georgia mountains. In between that, it's a 16 bedroom, 17 bath lodge, think rustic instead of Ritz, but it's beautiful. It's a healing place. It's a learning place. It's on 15 acres in the Appalachian Mountains. That's where we're hosting our retreat. So between the demand for the mastermind and the retreats and to lean in and to build connection among these men, we men, we're seeking connection. We're seeking other like-minded men to bounce ideas off of because we don't have all the answers. We're lonely at the top. And so I think between the book, the mastermind, the retreats, buying the hotel, and now moving into the women's space here in 2022, man, it's been a whirlwind. But here's the challenges and all that. We want to practice what we preach, right, brother? We don't want. And so exhaustion, losing your relationship with your wife because she become more of a business partner than your actual, life partner. And sometimes I'm getting asked to speak all over the country again. And now we're about to go international for the book. And so that is a beautiful problem to have. It's definitely a first world problem, but you also want to practice rest. You also want to practice self-love. You want to make sure you're investing in yourself. And you want to make sure you're not losing the person that's most important in your life during the process. So it's been a beautiful, beautiful 2.5 years, but it doesn't come without consequences and challenging, my brother. And that's just me being very authentic and honest, man.
No, I totally understand it. And when I built my business, the one thing I did was put a time limit on everything. And I said, this is what I'm going to go to. And if I have more demand, I'm going to say no. And I've practiced what I preach. People keep chasing, and life isn't about just chasing one thing. It's about how do you create the harmony across multiple things and figuring that out. And a lot of people, I think they struggle with stopping or with that control. And too many people chase the one facet, which is money and fame, and give everything else away from that. And that's a shame, unfortunately.
Yeah, I agree. It's tough for a lot of us, and I'll include me in this. It's the ghost of when and more, right? When I get here or when I have more of this. And for me, I've let go of the need for, I think I have, that doesn't mean it's not somewhere deep down in, because we all crave status, power, but and respect, but that doesn't mean, what does that actually mean, right? When we truly want to be loved, seen, and heard. But for me, I feel like we're in a spring, and in a spring season, everything's growing, everything's flourishing, getting this business, we're got a lot of fires and buckets, and we've invested a lot of money into all of these things. And so while we're in a growth period, when the flowers are growing and nutrition's coming and people are interested in, let's run the wave with it, both my wife and I and the 8 employees that we have. But, at the end of the day, I know what winter feels like as well. And I know there's a time when we need to reshift our priorities. And life's about priorities, and really focus back in on us. And so I think here in the next month or so, we're going to take a really epic, put down the email, put down the cell phone, and go lean in on each other for 8 days. And no business. We don't have children, so that's not an issue for us. And I know that, a lot of people, they can't go to dinner without talking about their kids or their business or their work. And in that, we all lose each other, and we're guilty as charged. And so we're getting ready to kick back to a lean in session. But actually, we have a date night tonight because I'm going to be gone for the next 3 or 4 days. So I'm super excited about that.
And you got to put those things on your calendar and schedule for them and go do them. I think throughout my career, we would always go on 2-week vacations, at least once away, usually once home. But nice. Just getting away and turning everything off and doing that. COVID hasn't made that easy, but we're figuring our way back out and still getting back to traveling little by little. So on your website, it defines legend. It says a person who takes action, lives with purpose, achieves financial freedom, someone who blocks out the noise and conquers time while maintaining a trusted inner circle. A mindset master who practices forgiveness and gratitude, a finisher who uses the power of choice, lives the good life, cultivates intimate relationships with others, and ultimately never gives up until the very last breath. So who can be this legend?
I think it's something we aspire to be. I don't think any of us actually can achieve all of those things. But each one of those things, if you dissect them individually, they're not massive items. Some people think that discovering your purpose is massive or mastering your mindset is massive. No, these are aspirational. They're doing the reps every single day, like going to the gym. You're not going to build muscles if you're not doing reps. If you're not eating good, you're going to gain weight. And so whether it's conquering your time or building a network or mastering your mindset, living the good life, taking action, all of these things, building toward financial freedom. And freedom means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. To me, it's about the building toward that. It's about building towards something. And the reason we called the book legendary, that is the definition of a legend. But it doesn't have, you don't have to meet all those to be a legend. MLK certainly wasn't half of those things. And he's certainly an amazing legend. Same thing with Gandhi, same thing with Abraham Lincoln. We have horrible legends that I'm not even going to say their names because they're not even worth saying. But what I love about legendary, it's given, like if I said Tommy Breedlove's legendary, Rocky, you would probably punch me through this computer screen and laugh me out of the room. That's what I love about the title, is legendary is given to us. And it has nothing to do with money, success, fame. But that's what we give legendary status to these days. But it's about impact. It's about being a little bit better than we were yesterday. It's about leaving this beautiful planet and our fellow humans a little bit better than we found them. It's about getting up each day, putting on our pants, knowing the mirror, looking in the mirror and know that is both the problem and the solution. And it's about whatever area in our life. And you just heard me being very honest earlier about my relationship. That's where I'm focusing now, is leaning back in, communicating, time, date night, recommitting to that because we've lost each other in this massive spring phase in our business. And so for me, legendary is given to us by our communities, our families, our networks, and our friends. And I aspire to be that. But again, no one's going to read my resume when I die. No one cares. No one cares. No one cares about me really anyway. Just like 5 people really care about me. But I'm okay with that. At least I have 5. That's better than 0. But at the end of the day, I want to keep doing the work. Because I know what living on the wrong side of karma looks like for 36 years. And for the last 11, I've been working my ass off to be on the right side of karma, to be a net giver, to be a contributor, to be, somebody who wants to make a difference. And so all of those things, yes, That's what it would, if you can do that, kudos to you. That is legendary. But what I love about the book, and I think why it's done so well, is it's got simple, actionable tactics, whatever those areas that you want to lean in on and be a little bit better. There's some simple tactics there for you to practice just 5 to 10, 15 minutes every day that will pay compounding interest, whether it's money, time, purpose, mastering your mindset, developing intimate relationships with your friends and family. It's all there, brother. So that's what legendary means to me.
And you said something very important. And I think this is what people don't realize. They think that this is unobtainable.
Yeah.
But just taking 15 minutes a day to work on a part of your life and doing that consistently, it compounds. It compounds massively. And again, this is not, we're going to do this for 30 days or 90 days. This is, as you said, I think you said I've been working on it for the last 11 years. For me, it's probably been even longer than that. And it's that constant showing up that gets you closer and closer. But there's another side to this, and it's a side that a lot of people don't talk about. And I texted you this a couple weeks ago. It's a quote because I read it in a book, and it said, if you want to be a legend, you have to be comfortable being an outcast, for you will not fit into this society. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
So I feel the same way about being an epic leader as well. And I think legends and or leaders, we'll call it legends since that's what the quote said. I think they have to go against the mob. I've read something similar to that. Say, if you see the mob go in one direction, make sure you go the other, because it's easy to be part of that tribe about whatever secrets. So, we're always swinging from one way to the left, right, politically, socially, religious, whatever it is. But if you're a legend or a leader, sometimes you've got to make very, very difficult, stand on your own decisions that deep down in your DNA, your heart, your gut, your soul, that are better for you, better for your community, your business, your family, your organization, whatever it might be. And it can be very, very, very lonely. And I think we do have to make unpopular decisions. I think we have to take risks that 99.9% of the people in the world won't take. It's sad to say, but I think people are lazy. And I also think that we're in a culture right now, left or right, that we're promoting victimhood and entitlement all day, every day. Turn on any 24-hour news. It doesn't matter if it's left or right. They're going to tell you you're a victim and or entitled in some way. And so for a great leader or an aspiring legend, we've got to unwire that. We got to tell you that's not true. You're not a victim. You're not entitled. Do the work. We're going to go left. And here's why. We tell people why we're going left, what we're fighting against, what we're fighting for, and where we're going and why we're going there. And people can either get on the bus or not, or they can go be a part of the mob and be a part of the 90%. And, happiness, success is probably not over there. And so I think it's a very lonely world. People who want to be leaders or legends, or people who just want to make impact. I think it's lonely. I think it's hard. I think it requires very difficult decisions. And I think a lot of times your decisions are going to piss a lot of people off. And let me tell you, if you make those decisions and they're completely with your heart, mind, and soul, and you can even be making the wrong decisions, at least at the end of the day, when you lay your head down, you've done what's in your soul. And I think that's what's important.
And so some of these things I think are naturally ingrained in us. I mean, if you go back through history, we were meant to live in tribes. And so you don't stand out from the tribe because the tribe will ostracize you. And at that point,
you'll die.
So, okay, we need to stay part of the tribe. You will be killed
by the other tribe.
But at the same point, if you look at your parents don't go, I want you to be legendary. Your parents go, I want you to be safe. Take the safe path. Do this.
Want you to be an accountant, lawyer, doctor, engineer. That's what they do.
That's what they do. And so that is a lot of the things that you kind of have to be comfortable walking away from. And it isn't always easy, but
I think it's super hard. And I went into a very safe career. I went into large public accounting, financial consulting, and M&A. And it wasn't until I started doing this work. It wasn't until I started working with great coaches, hanging out with epic people like Rocky here on this podcast. I'm not kidding. when I surrounded myself with movers and shakers, people wanted to make an impact, people who wanted something more, who wanted to chase a dream, or who all wanted to go do something different. And, I was a senior partner and board of director at a big firm making way too much money for soulless work. And, it was a big deal for me to walk away at the top of the game, sell my equity back in the company, take 60+% of my income away from my family to go chase a dream. But I knew if I didn't do it, it would have been a woulda, coulda, shoulda regret. And at least I got in the arena. And what I loved about that time in my life, I lost about 50 to 60% of my network because they thought I was fooled. And self-servingly, they thought I could never give them anything anymore. Hey, this guy doesn't have the power status or the fancy office and title anymore. He's a nobody. And he's a fool because he's chasing this. But those people who did stay in my life, my wife, my real friends, my real network, looking back on it now 10 years later, man, those people who let go of me are dying to see underneath the skirt and see what we're doing now. And we're making more money than we've ever made and are happier than we've ever been. But it took a lot of work. It took a lot of courage. It took a community around me. There was moments that I thought, oh my God, I'm going to live under a bridge. And so, it takes, and we so care about what everybody else thinks. And the truth is they're not thinking about us. They're only thinking about themselves. And so at the end of the day, man, I wanted to be in the arena. I wanted to live the life I wanted to live. And candidly, that entire industry was a little bit outside of my value systems, a little bit out. And I think it's antiquated and dying dinosaur. And so I wanted to go do something a little more special. So it's hard. It takes a boatload of courage and the right community and action, continued action, and not giving up, because you are going to fall on your face and just keep moving forward.
I know many people who've written books, and it's a long and tedious process. And at some point you're like, okay, we're done. We're done with the edits, and then it gets sent off, and then you wait months for the launch. And then that's only 10% of the work, because 90% is selling the book. But usually within that process, and as you go out, you start to learn so many things because people start to read your work and provide you feedback and so forth. Have there been insights and ahas that have come since the book is launched?
1,000. And let me tell you my quick journey that we don't talk about very often about. I was told to write a book by a lot of people you and I know, just because they liked my story and they found it inspirational, blah, blah, blah. And it took me 3 years to write the book because I hated it. I didn't want it to be about me. I thought it was egotistical. I was struggling from insecurities. Who cares? Who would read it? Why do they care? And, the title was wrong. I didn't like it. I just didn't like it. 3 years of this fist fight. And 2 years, 9 months of this, I'm at a deadline with the publisher. And I sent a Jerry Maguire email. I'm like a week out from the book being due. I sent it to the publisher, the editors, the consultants, and some of the other team all over the country. Literally a Jerry Maguire email saying it stinks, I stink, you stink, we all stink. Just total victimhood, on myself. And that night I literally sat down and maybe had 3 or 4 bourbons, maybe not had 3 or 4 bourbons. And I was alone, which never drink alone, which I very rarely do. And but an aha moment happened. The chapters appeared to me, and I said, don't make it about you anymore. Make it about the book that would have saved your life at 36 when you were in such bad shape and on the outside you looked. And when I did that, I rewrote the book in 3 months and asked the publisher and all those people that I had just nuked to get back on the call. Rocky's actually experienced one of my nukes. They are not graceful. They are terribly ungraceful. And I have to do a lot of kissing butt at the end of it. So, and apologizing, because I do have my moments. But when I showed them the chapters, they were like, oh, hell yeah, this is going to be a great book. And when I made it about others, so that was step 1. Step 2 is we launched on March 7th, 2020. We literally had over 300 people get together in Atlanta for this book launch. 7 days later, the whole world shut down. So but what I've learned is I wrote something, and it's not about, there's probably 7 pages in the book about me. And there's probably 130 about great stories, great people, and simple and fun tactics that you can apply to your life. But what I've learned is I wrote something that I think is a legacy. I wrote something that I think that actually makes the world a better place. And I go out and speak about it from the soul, from what it means to me, what the work meant to me. And I think the aha is I'm so passionate about what's in those pages. I believe in it so much. I don't always meet the criteria of that book, but damn it, I get up every day and work at doing it again the next day. And so my aha moment is the book, yes, it has been a commercial success, but really to me, when you get these notes and these letters and these emails, or you go to a speech and somebody said, hey, this page changed my life, or I gave this to my child, or my wife read it, that to me is the aha. And the thing is when I didn't make it about me, and when I made it about people and serving an impact, and then what it has done for me, my network, my business, my opportunities, and ultimately some of those self-actualization things that we all crave, it's been profound. And the second book is in me, but I love this book so much. We're going to ride this wave and keep promoting it out there, because not many people, even when they buy your book, only 20% of it read it. It's incredible to me how little people read in this world. And that would solve most of our problems. But the people who are reading it, or the people who don't want to read it, want me to read it to them on Audible, they seem to be getting a lot out of it. And I think when you net give, that it comes back to you 10x. That's the biggest takeaway that I've had.
And I think that's a struggle for a lot of people, because I think most people are taught to take.
Oh, yeah.
And they're
it's
afraid to give.
Too.
It's unconscious, and it's somewhat of a scarcity mindset. And
yeah, what's in it for me, right? That's how most people go, or what can you do for me? And that's the problem with networking. That's why I don't even call networking anymore. I call it connecting. And I learned that from Chris Tuff. Is I want to connect with like-minded people, with net givers. When I send something to Rocky, I don't expect anything in return. I expect, because I believe in Rocky and what he does. And you put a book out into the world that you believe in all your heart and soul, that's going to make differences in people's lives. And that's going to way outlive me, man. I'm just so super grateful that I had the courage to do it. And I don't even know how I had it, which maybe because of great community behind me.
Today's episode is sponsored by Profit Answer Man Podcast. Did you know that most small business owners hate looking at their financials? It's one reason they may struggle with business success. The Profit Answer Man Podcast helps them ensure they are profitable and can pay their employees and weather the storms we all have to face. It's built on the Profit First methodology of pay yourself first. The Profit Answer Man Podcast is a must listen to for every small business owner and anyone who wants to help them survive and thrive. Check it out on your favorite listening platform. Very true. So what holds most people back from the life that they want?
Fear. Let me break it down into tactical, because that's an easy answer. All of us, right, wrong, or indifferent, to some degree, have woulda, shoulda, couldas. We've had mistakes that we've made, things that we said that we can't unsay, things we've done that we wish we hadn't done, things that were done to us that we wish weren't done to us. And we're constantly inundated with poison, noise, and negativity. 24-hour news, negativity. It's going into our eyes and ears all the time. Social media has some goodness out there. You got to look few and far between to find it, but it's mostly opinions, envy, jealousy, and negativity. Then we turn on Hulu, Netflix, Apple, Amazon, that garbage, and guilty as charged. I love me some Peaky Blinders. We turn that on, negativity, garbage, division, war, anger, affairs. And so all that stuff doesn't feel good at our soul level. And we're told we're victims. The Democrats are trying to take all this away from us. The Republicans are trying to take all this away from us. Hate them. Join us. That's negativity, division. And so we're inundated with shame, with fear. We look on social media and we aspire to have everybody's getting out of a Ferrari or taking bikini pics in South Beach, Miami, or look at me, my family's great. And then I just went home and, behind the scenes, it's terrible. we're inundated with fake. It's like we're trying to water plastic plants and expect them to grow. And so it's interesting to me, how can we not be afraid? How can we not feel shame? How can we not feel good enough? Even the very rich people that are clients or friends, they buy a boat and then someone builds a bigger boat. There's always a bigger boat. And so for me, it's fear. It's caring what other people think. It's wanting to be seen, heard, loved, and valued. It's status. And don't send me hate email, but the data says this: the majority, not all, the majority of men won't respect, status, power, and they fear getting embarrassed. That's the majority, not all. Those of us who do the work, we're working on that. Most women want love and safety. Now, I know some of you badass women entrepreneurs out there, you want respect, power. I get it. You're just like me. I get it. So don't send me hate email. I know who you are. We love you. We love you. You're me. Probably more me than you're probably more me than I want to be me. But with that being said, so we crave safety is important to us. Being loved is important to us. Not going against the status quo is important to us. Turning off all that noise and inundating ourselves with goodness, with courage, with reading, with podcasts, with coaching, with meditating, with praying, with gratitude journals, all the things that make us better. We're surrounding ourselves with positive people who lift us up, not tear us down. What holds people back is fear. And I don't know what we've done in this society, but we're lazy as hell. We're ridiculously lazy. Not all of us, a lot of us. And so we look for a weight loss pill, or we don't want to turn off, 18 hours of Netflix and wonder why we're still broke as hell. We want to go every night and just sit in front of the TV and do nothing or surf social media. We're wondering, well, why are we still broke and unhappy? And so I think it's people, I think we're scared, but I want people to hear they're not alone in that. It takes one to know one. But eventually you say enough is enough. You turn all that crap off. You change the paradigm. You start investing in yourself. And it's not the most selfish thing you can do. It's the most selfless. Because how are you going to love others if you don't love yourself? How are you going to respect others if you don't respect yourself? How are you going to be a great leader in this world if you can't even lead yourself? If you can't sit in a room with yourself, you are doomed to fail because you hate yourself in some varying degree. So for me, it's about changing the paradigm. We like to say that our friends and family are first. That's not true. We usually put our careers and our businesses and our ambitions first. We put our family second, ourselves third. If we change that paradigm and we do the reps, the hard work, the easy but hard work every single day, an hour or less, on our hearts, minds, souls, and our bodies, we start vibrating differently. We start standing up with confidence and courage. We start thinking differently. We start looking differently. We start attracting different people in our lives. We start firing those energy sucks out of our lives, and things start changing. But we can't change if we're having 6 beers and 8 hours of Netflix and social media and don't want to do the work. We can't change, man. And so that's what I think. And by the way, all of that crap is what's being promoted to you. It's easy. Success is easy. You look at these we use the word billionaires. Hey, it takes these people 30, 40, 50 years. And it's harder to be a billionaire than it is to be a starter in the NBA. There is 7-point-something billion people on earth, and there's like 60 starters in the NBA. Do that math. You know what I'm saying? And so these people have spent their whole lives giving up everything to get there. But you don't have to be a billionaire. You don't have to be rich and famous. Just be better than you were yesterday, and happiness, fulfillment, joy, life, purpose, it will come to you. I get on my soapbox on that, dude.
It's funny because Warren Buffett says nobody wants to get rich slowly. And if you look at him, I think he was 50 when he hit the first billion.
Yeah.
And the only reason he's got so many billions today is because he's so old and he keeps going.
Keeps going.
Yeah, he keeps going.
Look at Bezos, man. Bezos was a disaster for a long, long time. And then all of a sudden, look where he is now.
You got to keep showing up and you got to keep doing. And there is a price to pay for success. And if I look at Buffett, I don't think maybe now he has a better family life, but I know when his kids were growing up, it wasn't pretty.
Absolutely
Marriage
true.
was not pretty. And that you look around at most of these people, even I was kind of shocked, but even Gates is now divorced.
Yep. And people like to compare themselves to them. For most of us, those mortals, to me, leadership, let's talk about those great leaders. And what those people we just mentioned are all missing one thing. You know what they're all missing? Humility. And let me tell you why they're missing humility is because they're effing geniuses. Well, that's also 0.0001%. People like to talk about Steve Jobs and Bill Gates and what's the Tesla dude's name that likes to smoke weed and be smart? Help me. Elon Musk.
Yep.
They're geniuses. Their IQs are so superior, but for us mere mortals, me, Rocky, I love you, but we're not Bill Gates, man. So we have to have humility. For our leadership, we have to have optimism and confidence and authenticity. And we have to show up because what makes them great is their genius. What makes them failures in their lives. Look at the divorces. Look at the shit show of their children. Look at all these ex-employees that talk about them. We're building the modern we're building kings. And we're doing nothing to stop it. They're going to be bigger than our military soon. Scary. And they manage all of our data, all of our lives, and they're manipulating us in every way. And we're just little sheep. We're like puppets and they're puppeteers. So is that who we really want to be? Do we want to be them? Do we want to be their puppets and put them on pedestals? Or do we want to do the work ourselves, go against that grain and build something great on our own? That's what I would ask people.
And I'm perfectly fine turning it all off. I have a switch on my phone that makes my phone black and white. So it turns off
they just
the
heard
noise.
all of that. For those of you who can't see, I'm holding up my phone. And every one of those people we just talked about, hello, Jeff Bezos, hello, Elon. They're all listening, but they know I'm right. And they don't care.
They don't. They have had.
They don't care what Tommy Breedlove thinks.
Nope. They have had success. And I think there will be many moral questions in the future.
100%.
But the bottom line is they pay people to grab your attention. And they are very good at what they do. And they make it very easy to be able to do that. And it amazes me how much people just keep clicking and following. And
think about the like button on Instagram and Facebook. It goes to, we just want to be seen, heard, loved by you. See me. Oh my God, somebody liked my post. I'm important. How genius is that? But yet we keep logging on. Click, like. Oh, there's Sarah and Joe. Look at them in Mexico. Oh, she's wearing a bikini. Click, like. Oh, how ridiculous is that? Guilty as charged, by the way.
It's going to get better because there was this one time where everyone got excited when it said you've got mail. Now nobody wants to hear that, right?
So
it'll
true.
Change.
Hey, somebody sent me mail. Yes.
It will change over time.
At the end of the day, everybody, buy a dog. They'll love you anyway.
So speaking about that, you talk about unconditional love in a chapter in your book. Why is this so tough for so many people?
For me, it's almost impossible. It goes back to everything we've talked about before. And I was physically incapable of receiving love and giving love because I didn't love myself. And I didn't even know it. It was unconscious. And here's the beautiful thing, and I'll get to more tactical here in a minute, but here's the beautiful thing. Most of us have this moment in our life, and it can come from a lot of different things when we say enough. And I want to lean in and know why I feel this way, or why I have these insecurities, or have this fear, or have not met up to the dreams that I wanted as a little boy or girl. And so at that point, when I started doing that work with coaches and therapists and workshops and reading everything I could get my hand on, what I came to the realization of through some great mentors and angels in my life is that I didn't love myself. In fact, I quite hated myself. And my story is, when I was a very young kid, I was told that I was a piece of garbage from the time I was 1 till I was 15. And eventually I started believing it. And so all of us have varying degrees of that. And it might not be that you don't love yourself fully. It just, we're not enough in some way. Right. And that comes from all the messaging we get throughout our lives. For me, unconditional love is another aspirational thing. I don't think we can get there. I think if we got to perfection and legendary and unconditional love and immortality, this life would be really, really freaking boring. But for me, the strive is this, is I want to be, when someone says, Tommy, I love you, or Tommy, thank you, or someone gives me a gift, I want to be able to accept that and feel that love or feel that thanks and feel that grace and that love that's coming from them. And for I couldn't do it for so long. And it's because I didn't love myself. And so through a lot of work, a lot of deep work, the inner game, working on my heart, forgiving myself, forgiving others, putting positivity around me almost all day long, not having negative Nellies in my life, having people going in the same direction, practicing gratitude, meditating, reading great books that uplift me. And I have 2 rules for my friends, by the way. They either have to make me better or make me happy. That's the only 2 criteria. It has nothing to do with money or success. And the people who make me better usually don't make me happy. They usually piss me off because they're telling me that, hey, I'm an asshole in some way. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But for me, unconditional love is if we truly want to have intimacy, and intimacy can be sex, it can be romance, it can be a great conversation, it can be friendships, it can just mean being intimate with a friend, a family member, our significant other, is we've got to learn to love and respect ourselves the best we can. And it is practice. It's not a light switch. There's not a magic pill. I know there's Wellbutrin and Lexapro and all this other crap out there that's supposed to lower your body down and make you feel good. That's just numbing. But if you really lean in and do the work, and you really lean in and start practicing forgiveness, practice self-love with a lot of different techniques, and we talk about a lot of them in Legendary, what you'll find is you'll start vibrating differently. You'll start standing differently. You'll start looking in yourself and seeing something beautiful and not something disgusting. A lot of us struggle with that. A lot of us struggle with, I'm not thin enough, smart enough, rich enough, something enough. Hey, it takes you should see to this day when me and my team look at photos of me that we're going to post online. I'm always, you know what? I'm not looking at the message. I'm looking at whether my gut is hanging out. That's God's honest truth, man. Hey, I'm owning it. That's still a little bit of insecurity and non-self-love, right? Just not embracing who I am. Truth. We work on it every day. But let me tell you, I am almost 150 degrees from where I was at 36 years old or at 18 years old. And so for me, to truly love others, to truly be a net giver, to truly live on the side of goodness and not darkness, is we've got to practice. We see at the political levels, the highest of politics, of people who absolutely don't love themselves. I mean, you can see it on the left and the right, that people who have practiced none of this stuff, it's just about power and influence and control. And it has nothing to do about goodness or helping people. You see it. You can see it in their behaviors. You can see it what they write. You see it how they treat each other on commercials. But for us mere mortals, us entrepreneurs, as people, in order for our families to truly love us, in order for our friends, it's all about developing love for ourselves.
The one thing that I love about you is when we would be on calls and I'd be sitting there in the middle getting challenged, you would always call me out and you'd be like, your words say X, your eyes say something totally different. and I loved the fact that you would always do that. That was just so powerful and so helpful in just, you know, we need to get called out and we need to be in alignment and do those kinds of things. And so I thank you for that.
Well, you've also done that for me, and people do it for me almost every day. Yeah, Tommy, you said that, but you're sure doing something else. I was like, yeah, you're right. That's what makes us human, authentic. And you know what? We hear it, we're coachable, and we move forward.
We're all hypocrites at the end of the day.
Oh, yeah. But we work at we all work at being the same person behind closed doors with our significant others and family that we are out in public, which is sad, which is super sad. Guilty as charged right here on this. But I work my butt off every single day to work on that. Is, when we're out in front of clients or our network or in public, we're putting on these personas and, hey, this is what it looks like to have it all going on. And then we come back and my wife and I almost stab each other over a dish towel. I mean, what is that? And so, what I love about my wife and I, though, is she does the work like I do. And we're constantly sharpening that pencil on communication, love, openness, and asking sometimes for an apology when I've done something wrong. So, yeah, we're human.
It's funny. Because of what I do, I get to see a different view of most people. I get to see the truth of their finances.
Yeah.
And it's eye-opening.
It's like their doctor. Yeah, they're the warts.
Yeah, most of these people got many awards. It is quite eye-opening once you see what that looks like. One of the things you talk about is having an inner circle. Can you explain what that is and who should we invite in?
Well, I'll explain what your inner circle is. In corporations, organizations, not-for-profits, small or mid-sized businesses, and if you don't have for your business, get one immediately. And it can be two people, but we need a board of directors. And those are the people who help us set strategy. They help hold us accountable. They help hold us to our value systems. They lift us up. They kick us in the face when we need to be kicked in the face. They tell us we're not living up to what we're supposed to be. And sometimes they tell us the hard truths. And sometimes their job is just to stand there and hold space when we need it the most. And we need that in our lives too. And I'm very fortunate over the past few years that I've developed 8 to 10 friendships. And it starts with my wife. And I'm not telling you to go out there and divorce your wife or your husband. But the hardest thing we're involved with in our lives is our relationships. And if your relationship is struggling, you're going to be struggling. Your business is going to be struggling. Your family is going to be struggling. There's a reason most of us got together and loved each other and we're attracted to each other and we're rabbits. And then we developed friendships and then we, wanted to do life journey together, is make sure that's strong because that's the most important board member you got. And it can be the most devastating board member you have if things are off. So that's where you start there. But with some work on both sides, separately and together, the relationship can be solved. And then it can be independent or dependent. So for me, I have 8 to 10, mostly men, a couple of women, but mostly men who lift me up. We strategize together. We talk about our yearly goals. We talk about our plans. We get together once a month and I have to pull out the kimono and walk in naked, financially and mentally, emotionally, spiritually, not literally, but I mean, I'm there to just get raw and honest and authentic without emotionally vomiting and talk about the real stuff going on in my life. And they strategize. Sometimes they kick me in the face. Sometimes they go, I get it, but that's not who you want to be. I see why you want to go in that direction, but it's long-term consequences are not the short-term game. So for me, the inner circle is our board of directors. You have to be very, very selective, quick to fire too when it's time. When you sense jealousy or they want to hold you back when you're going forward. And for me, I want to applaud the people. I don't care if they're 1,000 miles ahead of me financially or wherever they are. As long as they're doing impact and as long as they're staying humble and still friends, then that's what an inner circle for. And I think it's been said by 1,000 different people in 1,000 different ways, but we are the people that we spend the most time with. And if you hang out with 5 drunk people, you're going to be drunk. Hang out with 5 overweight people, you're going to be overweight. You hang out with 5 poor people, you're going to be poor. And a combination of that. And so for me, it's critical who we surround ourselves with.
And it's building that circle. And yeah, you become the average of the 5 people around you. So pick wisely and pick the type of people who you want to become, because
totally.
Then you'll at least be moving in that correct direction and moving towards that space.
Let me just address something because I get this crap all the time. So I'm going to call some folks out. And I hear this, I don't know anybody like that. I don't have any friends. Okay, good for you. You're probably 100% correct. Now what I want you to go do is find the nearest freaking mirror. And that's the reason you surrounded yourself with those people, because you're in pain. Pain loves pain. And those painful people around you is because you're pain. Here's the good news. You're also the solution. So the first thing I want you to do is look in that mirror and tell that painful, whining victim they're fired. Then I want you to go fire all your friends over time, gracefully, with love. Then I want you to be alone. And then I want you to start doing the work. Start working on your emotional health. Start working on your mental health. Start working on your spiritual health. Start working on your physical health. Start working on your professional skills a little bit at a time and watch. Join an organization with people going in the same direction you want to do. Invest in yourself a little time and money, but do the work. You have to do the work. You have to set the example. You have to be the example you want to be. And you're starting at ground zero. You're going to hire the person in the mirror that wants more in life. And once you start doing the work, you will vibrate differently. You will stand differently. You will feel differently. You are investing in yourself. And over time, you are going to start attracting the right people in your life. And it could be the simplest thing at a grocery store with a weird conversation, but you're going to pause and it's going to be something they say because you're climbing a mountain and your view is going to change. 99% of the people stay on the floor. That's why they're so angry and mad and don't understand. Woe is me. But once you start doing this work and climbing the mountain of self-development, climb the mountain of self-actualization, climb the mountain of self-confidence, you change. And you start attracting those people in your life. So be patient, do the work, and that will change. Sorry, I had to call those folks out, man.
They're not listening to this show. My listeners are all listening. Amazing.
Anyway, everybody's laughing because we know who they are. Though. But I can't. Yeah.
we don't attract them to this show because we don't put up with that. True. You keep talking about vibrating. Can you dig into that? What do you mean by that?
Totally, man. Everything in life's an energy flow. And this is where we get a little, and this is coming from a financial guy. So give me some grace here, ladies and gentlemen. So think about this. Situations or life situations or at a dinner, somebody in the room and the air is literally sucked out. It's like, what vortex of Darth Vader negative evil energy just walked into this place? That's what I'm talking about. And then we all know people who walk in the room and they don't have to say a word and we just feel better. We feel more confident. We're like, yep, whoever that is, I want more of that. It's an energy flow. Our thoughts are energy. Our words are energy. What we read is energy. What we input into our eyes and ears is energy. And so we are thousands and thousands in our brain, in our electrons. I mean, everything's a flow of energy throughout life. That's what makes the acorn and oak, man. It's energy. And that's why when you see a dead body, you're just seeing a bag of bones. It's about to disintegrate and the energy is gone. And some people call it soul. Some people call it spirits. It doesn't matter what you call it, but that's energy. And so how we breathe, what we think, our words, how we stand, and literally how we vibrate. I'm not kidding. You know who they are. You know when someone walks up to you, it's that weird flow. You're like, man, that person's got the it. Some call it the it factor, you know? That person's got it. And it has nothing to do with looks. That's different. That's just lust. This is about the it factor. This is it. That's what I'm talking about. And it can be cultivated. It's not just some people are born with charisma and some aren't. It's about working on themselves with mentors, with coaches, with masterminds. And you and I both prescribe to all of that. I'm in the coaching and mastermind business. I have a coach and I'm in a mastermind. I'm around people who vibrate in a certain way. I literally can't be around negative Nillies. I melt. I literally walk away. I just simply can't be in there. I've literally paid the check within one drink because I couldn't sit at this table anymore. I was just like, I can't be here. And so you know who they are. But when we do this work, it's what draws people to us. It's what repels people to us. Like attracts like, light attracts like, dark attracts dark. That's an energy flow, brother. And I hope I explained that in layman's terms.
I think you did. It's somewhat magnetic.
It's magnetism that you can't see magnets, but they're going to flip or they're going to repel. That's real. You can't see love. It's real. You can't see pain. It's real. You can't see loss. It's real. And so all of these great things in our lives, it's when we look at the Grand Canyon and we're like, oh, that's it. That's energy. That's an awing. That's a grace. That's a God thing. Or think about when you look at a fire. It's God's TV, man. Like, go light a fire in your backyard. Tell me if you don't stare at it for 2 hours. That's an energy flow. That's it, man.
Is there anything else that you wanted to share on the subject of living a richer and more meaningful life, but didn't get a chance to today?
Nah, brother. Here's what I think. This is not what it sounds like to have it all figured out. It's quite the contrary. I walk this walk every single day. I struggle every single day. I get up out of bed and think, carpe diem. Hopefully I'll be a better. Here's the thing is I want everyone, and I doubt they're listening to this podcast, but everybody on this podcast they had the one thing in their life they wish was a little better. All of us. It doesn't matter who it is. All of us. And the truth is you have to participate in your own rescue. There's no magic pill. There's nobody coming in on a white horse. And, there's no all-knowing being who's dictating you like a puppet. They expect you to lean in and go dark or good. They give you a power of will and a power of choice for a reason. I don't care what it is you believe in. They are not dictators up there. They do not care. They just want to see what you do. So it's up for you to participate in your own rescue. It's up for you to lean in and whatever that area of your life is. It's just to do a little bit of extra work, reprioritize something so that you can fulfill that part of your life. And just want people to know they're not alone, that I walk this walk with them. And here's to all of us aspiring on some level to build and live a legendary life. That's what I would say.
And that's almost like an action step, but I'm going to ask you so usually we close out with, based on the conversation, what's one action step people can take to move forward this week? So what's something we can do this week that we can get some results from immediately?
So I'm going to do something that you and I practice every single day. I'm going to go there because there's three things I want to say, but I'm going to narrow it to one because you asked me for one. There's one self-development, leadership, or business book that's been on your shelf a long time that you've been staring at forever. It's just been like this magnet. And you're like, man, I know I need to read this, but man, I really like me some Peaky Blinders. I really like me some House of Cards. I'm going to go watch TV instead. The action step is this: pick up that book and read 10 pages. And then pick up that book again and read 10 more pages. But here's the second step. There's a 2-step process. Find the one thing in that book that you want to take action on, because they're giving you the wisdom. Doesn't matter if it's legendary, profit first. I'm reading the books behind you. Persuasion, Seth Godin's This is Marketing. I'm reading all the books behind you. We'll just stick with legendary. But find that one thing in that book. You're like, yes, I need to apply that in my life. Because intention without action is worthless, and action without intention is worthless. So you're taking the action of reading a book, or you can listen to books. Like if you don't want to read, I will read legendary to you on Audible. I will literally read it to you. So for 10 minutes a day, and then take one thing and apply it to your life, and it will pay compounding interest. Is it your relationship? Is it your money? Is it your network? Is it your time? Is it your mindset? What is it that you're struggling with? Go there, apply the one, read about it, gain wisdom, and apply the lesson in your life and take action. That's what I would say to do.
And that is essentially the entire purpose of this podcast, is to bring all those different things together and to figure them out and to take little baby steps consistently in life to move forward.
That's it. Now, why will only 10% people do that? But that's
How
the third
many?
podcast.
1 or 2%.
That's probably even more accurate.
It is. It's 1 or 2%. And that is 99% of people just don't show up. And it's really sad.
Mind blowing.
It is.
Mind blowing.
It's time to learn the secrets of life. What's your secret to living an abundant life?
Participating in my own rescue and doing the inner work every single day. Working on my heart muscle, my mind muscle, my soul muscle, and my physical muscles. To me, that is the secret to living an abundant life. It's taking the actions every day to be a little bit better than I was the day before.
And it's really that simple. Little steps every day.
Every day.
Consistently.
And it's fun, by the way. You'll get addicted to it. I mean, like, where has this goodness been my whole life?
What did you learn later in life that you wish you would have learned sooner?
Trust your gut. Your intuition, your soul, your gut. It's when you get your head out of the way, which is filled with fear and noise and woulda, coulda, shouldas. Is your heart muscle is the strongest muscle you've got. And it will lead you 8, 9 out of 10, but your mind will talk you out of so many different things. And so trust your gut. It's where your value system lives. It's where your principles lives. It's where your core values lives. And so for me is chasing shiny objects or chasing status or money or the approval of others. That's a headspace thing when your gut is telling you to go a different direction. I think your gut is connected to nature and God and all that is. And if you can get your head out of the way, get your heart and gut, it's going to prove you the right way 9 out of 10 times. Saved me a whole bunch of heartache, by the way, if I'd have listened to it.
A little bit of time in nature is is definitely a cleansing, and it's
oh my God, the best.
It's the best. If you were to give an 18-year-old one specific piece of wisdom, what would it be?
Read everything that you can get your hands on yesterday. And what's great about these 18-year-olds, they don't have to read it. People like me will read it to them. People like you will do a podcast for them. YouTube will take the greats and the whys and put it out there. They can just sit there and watch it. Turn off the poison, the social media, the news, the badness. There's so much wisdom out there. There's so much business knowledge out there. There's so much greatness out there from self-development. Is constantly inundate your eyes, your heart, your ears with wisdom, goodness, and keep your mind open to everything that you hear. And my God, you'll be a gazillionaire and happy and fulfilled by the time you die.
And that is the one thing that has changed since I was 18. When I was 18, you couldn't find information to save your life. Everyone was hiding it and keeping it a secret.
Or you had to go to the library.
Well, you could go to the library, but even in the library, it was so hard to figure out which book. And there were so many, there were limits on the books. Like you only got what somebody else said was curated for you. Today, it's just a totally, totally different world.
Couldn't agree more.
If people would like to learn more about your programs, your book, what is the best place for them to go to get to know Tommy better?
Yeah, the book, Legendary. So thankful it's become a bestseller in so many different categories, but it's everywhere. So if you want a hardback, a softback, and a lot of electronic copy, or you want me to read it to you over Audible, it's out there. It's all your favorite bookstores. It's at Penn Station. It's at the airports. Wherever you are, that book is there. You can order it. It's a simple read. It's a fast read. So that's one way you can learn a little bit more about me and invest in yourself. If you're interested in attending one of my Legendary Life retreats or conferences or mastermind or some of our coaching programs, reach out to us at tommybreedlove.com. There's a million different places you can reach out to us there. It's tommybreedlove.com. We do about 6 or 7 retreats a year. We run 2 or 3 conferences a year. We're always doing group coaching programs. So just super excited. We also do some one-on-one. That's a little bit different criteria. But also, here's the simplest way. On Instagram, I know I just bash social media like a mother, but we put a lot of love, life hacks, time hacks, financial hacks, goodness out there. We put love and light out there. We don't put any darkness, no politics, no religion. But if you want to be a little bit better and have something appear on your feed that makes you a little bit better, on Instagram, Tommy Breedlove, Facebook, Legendary Book, or Tommy Breedlove, LinkedIn, Tommy Breedlove. Check us out. We work hard at the content, and my team works hard at posting the pictures and all the other stuff. So we really do. Just follow us at Tommy Breedlove if you want to take this journey with us a little bit more.
I do that all the time. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Rocky, it's been my pleasure, my brother, and anytime, anywhere, my friend.
I always love talking with Tommy. He brings so much energy to the room. Are you ready to be legendary? You won't be perfect, but you'll be ahead of where you are today. We all have a choice in life. And like we mentioned, it's yours to look into the mirror and make. Tommy works with a lot of C-suite people, helping them to get back to a real life and on the right path. But you don't have to be there to learn from him. This week's action step was to pick a book to read from your shelf and read 10 pages, and then find one thing that you can take action on based on what you read. This is a game changer. As we've said before, small steps add up over time. It's pretty incredible. The other thing is, who can you bless this week with a little love and positivity? Why not do so? A kind word goes a long way. It's important to have people in your corner who will call you out and help you get better. It's one of the things I loved about Tommy. He would look at my eyes and go, you said X, but your eyes say Y. I'm calling you to the carpet. And that's always nice to have people like that who are surrounding you and helping you to move forward. Next week, we've got on Adam Kahane to talk about facilitating breakthrough. How to remove obstacles, bridge differences, and move forward together. He's got a tremendous amount of experience of negotiating people coming together who would struggle to talk to each other. So check it out. If you like today's episode and you know someone who wants to be legendary, would you share the episode with them? I'd appreciate it. Thanks for listening. Have an abundant week.